Hello. Today we're visiting here Nicole Cardona, the sales executive here at Exquisite Residences and Hotel. Thank you, Nicole, so much for receiving us.
Thank you for having me, Corda.
All right, so before we go on a tour of this amazing building, Nicole, tell us a little bit about what makes this building so unique compared to everything else that Miami has to offer today.
So in itself, it's the only building that's new construction, totally finished. Units come totally furnished. Additional to that, all the units, you're allowed to rent them on short term. So that's something huge because in the location where we're at here in downtown, which is one of the best locations right now because it's a new construction, everything here is practically a new city. You're gonna have a building that allows short term, unobstructed views, which is the best part of the building, and your neighbors in itself are going to be, high-end buildings just like Waldorf Astoria, Monumental, 1,000 museums. So in itself, it's the only building that kind of has all of the characteristics.
Okay, so that's a good point because often we get clients, coming from New York, Canada, California, you name it, and they have this idea that but Miami has a lot of buildings. Why can't we find something else for Airbnb, short term? I want to visit it.
Yeah.
Just 2 weeks out of the year, right? Which is not right? It's just a misconception.
Correct.
There's very limited buildings that allow Airbnb today here in Miami approved.
Correct.
So it's very unique. As you said, what can you tell us more about downtown and why downtown is so important? What's happening?
So downtown right now has over 10 billion in investments, in which the highest impact that it's gonna have is entirely residential. You're gonna have over 20 towers come up in the market, in which we're the only tower that's already built. The rest you have to wait 4 to 5 years more or less because it's pre-construction, and that's obviously with no delays. Additional to that, you're gonna have almost 2 billion coming up in what is kind of the restructure of the city. So you have the Signature Bridge coming up, which is beautiful. It's going to be an 80-foot bridge. You're going to have also Bayside, which is having a total like a refurbishing of over 200 million, which is great. And then in itself, the city, you have the Bright Line 4 blocks away west. And that's great because you're going to be allowed to get to even Orlando more or less in April, if I'm not mistaken. So you do have a lot of the infrastructure that's totally built in that can obviously make it, a little Manhattan.
Yeah. No, and it's growing so much, with all these new projects going on, that we're also seeing a lot more events coming into town.
Correct.
Which it's crazy to see that, events bring people. Right?
Exactly. So right now, you have like the boat show right now. So
yes.
It's a block away. And then apart from that, next month you're gonna have Ultra. You're gonna have Winter Music Conference. You're gonna have the Miami Open. So you have so many events. It's like I lost track. But you do have so many things that as a buyer with this building in itself, since it's firsthand and you're right on Biscayne, you have obviously a much higher, not a percentage, but like a higher
Occupation.
Yeah, a higher occupation in itself. Yeah, your occupancy is going to be a lot higher than the rest.
Yeah, but very, very important. Often people ask us where these people are coming from.
Exactly.
Is my unit going to be rented, et cetera, right? Tell us a little bit more about the developer.
So the developers, PMG Property Markets Group, we've been in the business over 30 years. We have more than 120 buildings, and in itself, we focus mostly on high-end buildings. So this is one of our high-end properties, but with kind of the remix, let's call it that, of being able to rent short term. And then on that aspect, you're gonna have on that side, Waldorf Astoria, which is fantastic because everything within the vicinity of Waldorf is great. And that's a huge asset for anybody that's looking into a property for short-term rental.
Yeah.
Now, the Waldorf is a monumental building. It's going to change the skyline of Miami. Yeah. It's 100 stories, 1,049 feet tall, and you're going to have kind of these stacked cubes, which consists of 9 cubes in total. And that's huge because, you have a lot of that market that came down from, the north or the west, from the east coast, west coast, I'm sorry. So you do have a little bit of that, but that's great because in itself, like I'm saying, it's a building that you can walk. It's a building that you can already see operational with the hotel program. It's 10.
Yeah. Exactly. It was right here. If you have visited, you can actually see it here.
Exactly.
So what are the mix of units that we can expect from this building?
So you're gonna have studios, 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms, all fully furnished, finished, and equipped. So you're not gonna need anything, towels, sheets, everything is gonna be included, correct?
Okay, beautiful. And what are we looking as far as like the amenities?
So amenities are the best. So you have an Olympic pool. You're gonna have a sky deck facing east, and in itself totally unobstructed view. So it's like you're elevated in the Miami skyline. It's fantastic. You're gonna have an outdoor theater. You're gonna have grills. You're gonna have an outdoor bar. You're gonna have an outdoor yoga space, and then you have over 10,000 square feet of gym.
Oh, great. Well, it's huge. Okay, so you had mentioned, obviously, this is a building that allows Airbnb and also short-term rentals. What do we have to offer, to people that want to buy it? Is there any way that your building can actually be administered?
Of course. So for anything that is going to be done short-term rental, you can put it in the hotel program with Highgate. Highgate is a great management company.
Okay.
They take care of everything that's between Hard Rocks, Hilton's, Hyatt's, for instance. They have more than 850 hotels, more than 90,000 keys. So they're not just a company, that came a management company. No, they're going to take care of the entire building from the management aspect to the residential aspect as well. So you are going to have a good company taking care of what the entire operation of the building is.
And that's amazing because, we've seen some other buildings that usually are more independent and let the buyer obviously, do their own administration. But then you see all this craziness, where everybody's up, all on their own and with their own thing. And it just creates a little bit of chaos, when it comes to the management of the actual building, right?
Exactly.
Beautiful. So tell us a little bit more about what we can express for price ranges.
Okay, so you're expecting anything between 650,000 all the way to $1.4 million. Our highest price unit is going to be this line, which is line 09. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Obviously, the views are stunning. You're going to have views of the Intercoastal, South Fifth, the Port of Miami, the Ferris wheel in Bayside. And you're more or less 1.8 million, exactly. But you do have a variety. So we do have a variety of prices depending on what type of clientele you have, but we do have options for everybody, correct?
Yeah, okay. So this is a great building, for the type of investor or buyer who's looking to buy a property in Miami, unique location, right? New, very important.
Unobstructed views.
Unobstructed views, and on the first line, okay, and ready to be producing or,
finished and ready to produce because you can put it on your hotel rental program immediately.
Great. What does a buyer have to do if they're interested in reserving a unit here?
So right now we are in contract. So we are accepting 10% at contract. We as developers are requesting 30% in total.
Okay.
Now we can push closings all the way to May, June to July to August. We're super flexible with that, and we'll work with the client obviously depending on what they need within that time to get that 30%.
Okay, great. Financing, can the building finance, are we able to finance?
You guys can do financing, you can do cash. That's the beauty of being newly built, new construction, the only thing that's tangible right now.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the invitation today. The building is beautiful, the amenities are great, the views are unique. You can't go wrong with it.
Yes,
Thank you so much for the invitation today, Nicole. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you need more information about this building, about this project, don't forget to connect with us, and we'll see you soon.